Welcome to AM Story, where every story speaks louder than words. Sit back, feel every moment, and let the story begin. You're not going to believe what I'm about to say, but I fell in love with someone who almost ruined me. And no, this isn't just some toxic love story. It's darker than that, okay? I don't even know how to start this. But if I don't talk about it now, I'll go crazy. So here it is. I met him on a rainy Wednesday. Super cliché, I know, but it's true. I was at this small bookstore, just hiding from the rain, and he walked in, soaked black coat, sharp jawline, eyes like, I don't know. He looked like he didn't belong to this world, and for some reason, he talked to me. We started with small talk, and then we didn't stop. It was easy. Too easy. Like we already knew each other from another life or something. I still remember the way he smiled. God, that smile. It wasn't warm. It was inviting but cold. Does that even make sense? Anyway, I gave him my number, which I never do, ever. But something about him felt magnetic, like the kind of person who pulls you in before you even realize it. And yeah, at that time, I thought it was fate. Now I think it was a trap. But back then I was just happy someone saw me. And I didn't even know how badly I wanted to be seen. The first few weeks, I was floating. He texted me every morning, called me every night, always asked if I'd eaten. Remembered every little thing I said, like the fact that I liked cold coffee, or that I hated Thursdays. He listened. No one had ever made me feel so important before. So, chosen. It was addicting. I told my friends about him. They were skeptical, of course. He's too smooth, one of them said. Watch out, another warned. But I didn't care, because when I was with him, I felt safe, even when he barely talked about himself, even when he never let me hold his phone. Even when I started noticing little things, like how he'd disappear for hours, or how he'd get irritated when I asked where he was, or how sometimes his eyes looked completely empty, like a light just switched off inside him. But I ignored all of it. I kept telling myself he was just complicated, that maybe he was dealing with something. Maybe he just needed someone who wouldn't give up on him. I wanted to be that someone. I thought if I loved him hard enough, he'd eventually open up. He'd heal. We'd heal. Together. God, I was so naive. Because what I didn't realize back then was that I wasn't loving him. I was drowning in him and calling it love. At first, I thought I was overthinking. Like maybe I was being dramatic. But the shift was real. He stopped texting as much. Stopped calling. But when I brought it up, he flipped it on me. He said I was too needy, too clingy, too much. And for a second, I believed him. I remember just sitting in my room that night, staring at my phone, rereading our old conversations like I was trying to find the moment he changed, but there wasn't one. It was like he slowly turned the volume down on us. Like, bit by bit, he was training me to expect less, and every time I called him out, he'd say things like, "You're lucky I even put up with you," or, "No one else would love you the way I do." And the worst part? I started to believe that too. I started apologizing for things that weren't my fault. Started hiding my feelings because he said they were too much. Started shrinking myself just to keep him. I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I used to be loud, strong. I used to laugh without thinking twice. Now I was tiptoeing around my own damn boyfriend. And somehow, I still loved him. Or maybe I just didn't want to lose him. Because in my head, losing him meant I failed. And I was so desperate to prove to everyone that this wasn't a mistake. That he was worth it. But deep down, I already knew something was very, very wrong. I used to tell my friends everything, every little thing. But when it came to him, I started lying. They'd ask how we were doing, and I'd smile and say, "We're good," even when I'd cried myself to sleep the night before. I'd say things like, "He's just busy. He's been stressed lately," like I was trying to convince them. But really, I was trying to convince myself. Because the truth? He wasn't just distant. He was cold. He would look at me like I was annoying, talk to me like I was stupid, make jokes that weren't jokes. One time, I spent hours planning a small surprise for his birthday. I bought his favorite cake, wrote him a letter, set up this cozy dinner in my apartment. He walked in, looked around, and said, "This is it?" Then just sat on the couch and scrolled through his phone. I laughed it off. I actually laughed. Like it didn't hurt. Like I wasn't breaking inside. And after he left, I sat alone on the floor, staring at the uneaten cake, thinking, what am I doing? But I didn't leave. I couldn't leave. Because by that point, I had wrapped my entire worth around how he saw me. If he didn't want me, then maybe I wasn't worth wanting. That's the thing no one tells you about dark love. It doesn't kill you all at once. It starves you, slowly, silently, until you forget what being full ever felt like. And God, I was starving. But I smiled through it. Because I thought that was love. I thought if I just held on long enough, he'd come back to me. The version I first met, the version I made up in my head. But that version was already gone, if it even existed at all. There was this one night I'll never forget. I was sitting in my bathroom, door locked, lights off, just sitting there on the cold tile. I'd just had another fight with him. I don't even remember what it was about. I just remember the way he looked at me, like I was worthless, like I disgusted him. And when he left, he slammed the door so hard, a picture frame fell and shattered. I didn't even flinch. I just sat there, empty, not crying, not angry, just numb. And that scared me, because I used to feel everything so deeply. I used to be someone. Now I was this quiet version of myself. Careful, muted, small. I used to have dreams. God, I had so many plans for my life. I wanted to travel, start a small art business, maybe get a dog. Now I was just surviving him. Every day felt like a game of don't set him off, like walking on glass barefoot, smiling, pretending it didn't hurt. I didn't tell anyone, because how do you explain that kind of love? The kind that doesn't leave bruises on your skin, but leaves them all over your soul? People think abuse is loud. It's screaming. It's throwing things. It's black eyes. But sometimes, it's silence. It's gaslighting. It's being made to feel like you're the problem. Even when you're the one bleeding. And the scariest part, I still wanted him to love me, even after all of it, even when I knew he never really did. That night, sitting in that dark bathroom, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I didn't recognize who I was anymore. After that night in the bathroom, I promised myself, I'm done. I told myself I'd block his number, delete our photos, erase every trace of him, and I tried. God, I tried. But then, he texted me. Just 2 words. I'm sorry. That's all it took. My heart broke all over again. Like stupidly, I thought, he gets it. He finally sees what he did to me. So I replied. I said, it's okay, I miss you. And just like that, we were back in the same cycle. He'd be sweet for a week, affectionate, present. He'd call me his girl again, buy me coffee, hold my hand. And every time he touched me, I felt this weird mix of safety and fear. Like my body knew it wasn't right. But my heart, my stupid broken heart, was still begging for crumbs. I hated myself for going back. I knew better, but I couldn't walk away. Because when you've built your whole world around someone, even if that world is crumbling, you don't just leave. You cling to the ruins. You pretend the smoke isn't choking you. You call it love, even when it's killing you. And part of me, the scared part, kept whispering, what if this is the best I'll ever get? What if no one else will want me after this? That's what dark love does. It doesn't just break your heart, it breaks your sense of worth. It makes you think the pain is proof that it's real. But deep down, I knew, if I stayed any longer, there wouldn't be anything left of me to save. There was this one afternoon. Nothing dramatic happened. No screaming. No cheating. No final straw. We were just sitting in his car, parked, silent. And I looked at him, and I felt nothing. No butterflies, no ache, no warmth, just cold air between us. He was scrolling on his phone, not even looking at me, and I was staring out the window, watching people walk by, laughing, holding hands, alive. And I thought, is this what I've settled for? A man who only loves me when it's convenient, who only touches me when he wants something, who never says I love you unless he thinks I'm slipping away. And then it hit me. I wasn't in love with him. I was in love with the way he made me feel in the beginning. That brief illusion, where I felt wanted, chosen, seen. I kept chasing that version of him, like an addict chasing their first high, even though he never gave it to me again. That realization, it cracked something in me. I went home that night, and I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat on my bed, opened my notes app, and wrote, he doesn't love you. He just loves the power he has over you. And you're letting him take pieces of you you may never get back. I read it over and over, until it felt real, until it finally stuck. And then without thinking, I blocked him. Phone, Instagram, everything. No goodbye, no warning, just silence. It wasn't strength, it was survival. Because if I didn't leave at that exact moment, I never would. And you know what's the saddest part? He didn't even try to come after me. Not a text, not a call, nothing. And that hurt more than anything he ever said to me. Because it proved what I already knew. I was never someone he loved. I was just someone he used. The first few days after I left were hell. I kept reaching for my phone. Out of habit, muscle memory. I'd type his name, then delete it. I didn't eat much, didn't sleep. Just existed, like a ghost in my own life. And people kept saying, "You did the right thing. You're strong. You deserve better." But it didn't feel like strength. It felt like loss, like I'd cut off a part of myself, and now I was bleeding from the inside. But slowly, and I mean painfully slowly, the fog began to lift. I started doing little things again, like playing music in the morning, buying flowers for myself, wearing lipstick just because. And one day, I caught my reflection in the mirror, and I looked different, not healed, not glowing, just alive. And that was enough, because I wasn't living for him anymore. I wasn't trying to be small or quiet or easy to love. I was just being me, messy, loud, emotional, real. And that version of me, she deserved better. She deserved everything, even now. Some nights are hard. Some songs still make me flinch. Some memories still creep in like shadows. But I remind myself, I left. I survived. And that's not weakness. That's power. People always ask, do you still think about him? And yeah, I do. Not every day, but sometimes in the quiet. When the world slows down, when the loneliness creeps in. But it's not love anymore. It's not longing. It's awareness. He was a chapter. A dark one, but just a chapter. And I don't hate him. I don't wish him pain. I just hope he never does to anyone else what he did to me. Because I've learned, love isn't supposed to hurt like that. It's not supposed to make you question your worth, or beg for scraps, or lose yourself just to keep someone. Real love is gentle. It's safe. It sees you, all of you, and still stays. And maybe I haven't found that yet, but I will. Because now, I know what I don't deserve. And that's where healing begins. So if you're watching this, and you're in something that feels like love, but also feels like pain, please listen to your gut. You don't have to stay just because you're afraid to be alone. Alone is hard, but being with someone who breaks you, that's worse. You deserve softness. You deserve to be chosen, fully, freely, fiercely. And if no one's told you this yet, let me be the first. Get out, heal, come back to life. It's not too late. This was my story, raw, messy, real. If you felt even a little seen, then maybe you're not alone, and maybe that's the first step.